Has anyone been involved or is involved in the school student congress of some sort? I participated in my high school student council, and I had a very strategic plan. I was going to be the vice president my sophomore and junior years, and then my senior year, I was going to be the best first female president my school had ever seen. It's a good plan, right? Well, at the end of junior year, I ran for president, and I lost. I remember exactly where and when I heard the devastating news. I was sitting in math class, and I was in a math class of 2. So it was me, my classmate, and my teacher. And I heard the PA system turn on, and I knew it was coming. But all of a sudden, I started feeling very sick to my stomach. My legs were shaky and weak. It was like I could sense the devastating news was about to come. Then, I hear my opponent's name called, and I shattered inside. I couldn't focus. I felt like I was gonna be real sick. And for the longest time after that, I really wrestled with God. I had asked him questions like, why exactly did I lose? What could I have done differently? And just hope that I could fix it, even though I can't. I don't understand why that happened. Just like there's a lot of situations in my life that I don't understand. I have a lot of expectations that people can't meet, and I don't understand why. But with all these unanswered questions, I felt hopeless, and there have been lots of times where I'm full of doubt. For the longest time, I was bitter and hurt. I thought if I knew exactly why, then somehow I could change it and I wouldn't be hurt anymore. But when I look in God's word at Romans 11:33-34, I'm reminded that I can trust God with my questions and my doubts. See, above the doubt and despite the uncertainty, trust means releasing control to the one who sees the whole picture, reigns fully over the situation, and ultimately gives me understanding in his good time. Romans 11:33-34 says, "Oh, the depth of the riches of the wisdom and knowledge of God. How unsearchable his judgments and his paths beyond tracing out. Who has known the mind of God, or who has been his counselor?" See, God sees the whole picture. 1 John 3:20 tells us, "For whenever our heart condemns us, God is greater than our heart, and he knows everything." See, there are hidden levels of God's knowledge that we'll never know. And even though that's scary, we can trust that God has all the information. He sees what we can't see, but he doesn't use that against us. Romans 8:31 says he is for us, not against us. And a few verses before that says, "In all things, God works for the good of those who love him." There are hidden levels of God's knowledge, but he uses his knowledge for us. See, God is also sovereign over the situation. Deuteronomy 10:4 says, "Behold, to the Lord your God belongs heaven and the heaven of heavens, the earth with all that is in it." God is at the bottom of things, but he's also at the top of the things. Charles Spurgeon, a pastor from the 1800s, who remains highly influential among Christians, said, "When you go through a trial, the sovereignty of God is the pillow upon which you lay your head." This gets me thinking, and I wonder, When will we believe in God's sovereignty as much as we declare the sovereignty of God? If I truly believe that God is at the bottom of everything and at the top, then I don't need to wonder and doubt. And lastly, God gives us understanding, because God empathizes with us. He understands exactly how we feel. He understands our hopelessness, and he understands our questions and our desire to understand. And as a good father and a benevolent king, God desires to give us answers. But often, he gives us the understanding and wisdom we need to see what he sees in his timing. Daniel 2:21-22, it says that God gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to those who have understanding. He reveals deep and hidden things. He knows what is in the darkness. God knows. He knows everything, and he wants to give us knowledge as well. As I close, let's think about 1 Peter 5:7. Cast all your anxiety on him, for he cares for you. I can't go back and change things. I can't go back and change the election. But I can go forward trusting that God saw the whole picture, knew the best outcome, and will help me understand. So releasing your worry to God means that you place it entirely with him. You give up your need to control the outcome. Instead, you trust that God controls the situation and that he will protect you as you go through it. When two people enter a doorway at the same time, one person will step back to let the other go first. It's the same idea when you step back in your own situation. You release control to the Lord by saying, no, you go first, and you make the path as you see fit. However, it doesn't mean that you no longer take action. You still deal with your finances responsibly. You manage your relationships with kindness and grace, and you do your homework with excellence and turn it on time. But it does mean that when your specific worry or fear comes to the surface, as it most likely will, you remind yourself to actively release your hold over the situation to God. You tell God your concern, even your anger and your hurt. You ask for his peace and his power to be at work in your life. You move on believing that he will keep his promises, because you can rest in his goodness and peace, because that is trusting God. Thank you.